Party in the front, felony in the back, right? Isn't that how that saying goes about the mullet? Business in the front, felony in the back. Woo. All right, hey, good morning, everybody. It's 6:30 in the morning, and it's rise and grind. Thursday morning as I'm filming this, and I'm starting to feel like, man, just sharing shit with y'all. Isn't that what I've been doing for 6 years here on AfterPrisonShow? Where I'm going right this second is man, I want to motivate, I want to inspire, and that's what I've always wanted to do with AfterPrisonShow, to encourage people to stay out of trouble, out of jail, out of prison, motivate to try to overcome addiction, which I realize, is up to each individual person. I just always wanted to see people do better, right? If I'm gonna share my life and AfterPrisonShow and now my new YouTube channel, Joe Does Stuff, with the world, then I want that to always be for something. Joe Does Stuff is very off the cuff, and I'm a lot more wide open over there. And here I try to rein it in and always try to keep it within perspective. But ultimately, with both of those medias, I always want them to inspire, motivate people to want to do better for themselves. I want to do better for myself, and I want to see other people do better for themselves as well. And that's always what AfterPrisonShow, I've always tried to make AfterPrisonShow be about. And I understand we've had quite a bit of drama, yada, yada, whatever. I guess it's just a part of what's come along with it, unfortunately. But I share all of that with you guys because, well, there's a couple of things. One, today I want to share with you guys some things that I've learned from the businesses that I've attempted to do after prison. Starting first with my first successful business, which was AfterPrisonShow, and then moving all the way up to flipping houses. And I want to share some things that I've learned along the way. Maybe you find them interesting, insightful. Maybe you take something from it. Who knows? But not always will I get it right. And in fact, in more cases than not, I'll make a lot of mistakes. But that's just a part of trying to learn, trying to do the utmost, right? I mean, take right this second, for example, 6:30 in the morning. I've been up since 4:40. I've been working on the budget for the flip house. I've been editing a video for Joe Does Stuff. I'm filming this video. I got to hurry up and film this video, go pick up Damon. I got a new guy starting today as well. Man, a lot of crazy shit. So there's so much in my brain right this second. Let me try to get it all out. Forgive the ADD. Let's go. First thing that I want to say is I do want to take a moment and address a sad situation. I haven't had a chance to do so. I need to do so. I want to do so. Some of you may already know. A lot of you probably do not. There was a former guest of AfterPrisonShow, a guy by the name of Dave. He had dreadlocks, Dave with the dreads. This guy had a really rough story. Addiction was a big part of his story. Depression and mental problems were another huge part of this guy's story. This guy worked on Flip House #1 for me. He shared quite a bit of his story. He would end up getting locked up. Jellicoe tried to help this guy quite a bit. He was a great friend of Jellicoe's, and it would actually be from Jellicoe where I would learn that just recently this guy passed away. I have no idea how he passed away. It's not my business. I don't necessarily need to know. None of us need to know. Was it addiction? Was it an overdose? It's going to be the #1 thought that most people have. And hell, I probably thought the same thing, but I didn't though, because I don't even think about it. Like I said, it's not my business, so it's not for nothing. However, this man passed away. It's a very sad, super sad situation. He leaves behind a young child. He leaves behind loved ones, and it's just super, super sad. And I want to say, rest in peace to Dave with the dreads. I was very sorry to hear about his passing, and I just wanted to let you guys know about that. You'll hear, I guess when you're in the type of a life where you're surrounded by addiction, you've been a part of addiction, you've dealt with addiction, or you've been in, the judicial system, you've been in and out of jails and prisons. When you hear about people passing away, it's not like all that surprising. You hear about it all of the time. But in this particular case, just like so many other cases, let this hit you in the feels. Let this motivate you. If you're out there screwing up, damn, man, I need to get my shit together. However you're screwing up, I need to get my shit together. I need to do better. I need to do better for me. I need to do better for my loved ones. Let this man's death, as sad and tragic as it is, be a motivator, be a sense of eye-openingness for you if you need that. And if you don't, say a prayer for this guy and his family. Moving on. I guess what I wanted to title this was like being a boss after prison. Don't let that get all lost in the meaning, in the content. Oh, Joe, you're so big-headed. I know, I need a haircut. I won't be getting one though until after we're done with the Flip House, which hopefully is going to be at the end of this month. If you want to follow the Flip House, Joe does stuff for all of that. It's mentioning Joe does stuff where yesterday I said something that was really bad over there on Joe does stuff, and a lot of people reacted to this, and they were mad that I said what I said. Joe, what did you say? Well, you'll have to go check out Joe does stuff for more on that. But I had made a comment. It was just a thought, not like a thought of mine, but just a thought in general. And it was about having workers, whether they're employees or people who work for you, whatever. Basically what I said was, if people are fearful that they're going to be terminated, if you put the fear of God in them that they could be fired and that they are replaceable, maybe you'll get more out of them. Maybe they'll work harder for you. And I'm not saying that this is my tactic and my philosophy. It was just a thought, right? And a lot of people reacted to that. Oh, Joe, boy, you can't treat people like that. You got to treat them with the utmost respect. Treat people as you want to be treated. You're absolutely right to say that. I can justify me even saying what I said about that by saying this. First of all, somebody that I know was going through a situation at somewhere that they worked, right? Where there was the potential that they could be fired for something that they didn't even do, but somebody lied and said that they did, right? So that was what got me to thinking. I'm like, damn, man, here's a person who works hard, but somebody lied and said something in an effort to save themselves, passed the buck, put the blame on somebody else. And now this person who was completely blameless, was completely innocent in this situation, could potentially be fired. And it was thinking about that made me think, well, if they're fearing that they could be fired, are they going to work harder to try to prevent that from happening? So that was the justification for that statement, okay? It's not like me saying about the guys that work with me. I mean, let me say this first and foremost. Most of the guys that work with me are here today, gone tomorrow, probably dealing with one sort of a vice or another. Most of those guys are absolutely, hands down, replaceable. Okay, so I will, own that. All right, let me go into being a boss after prison. Okay, because getting back to that statement that caught me so much flack, I felt like, and this is probably going to sound horrible as well, so many people have the worker mentality, right? I work for somebody else mentality. And with that, you're going to feel like, boy, I need to stop before I go too crazy, right? Everybody should want to be a boss, want to be their own boss, right? And if that is something that you strive for, then I hope that this video will give you a little perspective. Should I just shut up? Probably so, right? But hey, we're here, so let's go. Something I had said at the beginning of this, I've made a lot of mistakes throughout my CEO-idness, right? Joe, you don't know how to treat people right. Oh, it's probably you. That's why so many situations end badly. Well, not necessarily all the situations. And not necessarily a lot of the situations. Some situations, absolutely. Absolutely. My head so far up of my ass. Yeah, I can own that. Okay, but understand this. I didn't know how to be a boss until I became a boss, and through trial and error and walking across hot coals did I actually begin to learn and understand what it takes to be a boss. There's certain things that I have to do trying to be a boss. Said trying, okay, because maybe I'm not. Joe, you ain't no boss for real. I kind of am. But anyways, in my own regard, might not be the boss of people because people can do what they want to do, okay? You can't be a boss in 2021. Like, the world is changing. And I don't feel like people really understand my thinking, my rationale. Touche. I still share regardless. Through trial and error, I would learn how to deal with people, how to handle situations, and not all of those situations I would get correctly, right? So there's that. The first time that I got the opportunity to be a boss was with AfterPrisonShow, right? You got to understand something, right? Like, the saying is treat people how you want to be treated. That's the saying. But when you become a boss and you've never been a boss, sometimes you're going to treat people as you've been treated before. right? And I don't mean that to sound scorn or to sound, oh God, Joe, they did you so wrong. A little fodder to add to this. The most money I ever made in my life, I've been a laborer, like that's my skill set, laborer. Up until now. Now I'm a master carpenter and a Class A contractor, but that's for another time. The most money I'd ever made is $14 an hour. I think right now I'm paying Damon like $16 or $17 an hour. I got guys who want $20, $25 an hour, or that's what they ask for. But the whole treat people as you want to be treated, well, the only thing that I could do was treat people how I had been treated. I guess, maybe. I mean, I gotta believe like that came into play at some point. I had been treated like shit, so why not, right? And let me stop myself right there. I don't treat people like shit. I think I treat people the way that they deserve to be treated. I think I treat people the way that they show that they should be treated. If a person ain't shit, well then why should I treat them any different than that? You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? Anyways, I've tried to always treat everybody fairly, but the only real thing that I could go off of is how I had been treated. To be a boss, you gotta be a boss. Hey, yo, what are you doing? We ain't taking no breaks. I don't pay you to stand around. Why are you on your phone? Why are we taking 10 cigarette breaks? I'll mention these things, and I will be so serious throughout the workday. And here's something that I think separates me from any bosses that I had dealt with in the past, and something that I think you should take heed to if you want to be your own boss, especially after prison. And that is, if you've been like me and you've done labor work throughout your entire life and that's your skill set, and you hire guys as laborers, you can't be above the work, no matter who you are. Booker would give me some advice at one point. Booker does houses, I do houses. He does way more houses than I do, but he would still give me some advice. He says, Joe, you don't do the labor. You're the boss, like you pay guys, you hire guys to do that work. That way you can do other things, you can focus on boss shit. I could never wrap my head around that type of thinking, right? And I think that a big way that you earn respect, which is still up for debate in my situation is, if you're willing to get down and dirty and do the work with the guys that you pay to do that type of work, you should earn a certain level of respect for that, but you won't, because dudes, what they'll do is they'll just take advantage of you. Oh, that motherfucker's paying me and he's doing the same shit. So you know what? Hey, Candy Crush, oh shit, there's a new TikTok video. Sometimes to be the boss, you got to really put that foot down. You got to skirt that line. Are you going to get down and dirty and do the work with these guys? Or are you going to tell them, yo, get the fuck off of your phone? That's not what I'm paying you to do. YouTube was my first successful business. And I had guys who worked with me, whether they were guests of After Prison Show, who we were paying to feature them on After Prison Show, or people who worked side by side with me like Cody and numerous other people as well. It was so hard to not only just to be a boss, especially when you had never been a boss and you've never been a boss. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you are a boss and you've never been that, it's hard to get into that role and understand what it takes to be that. And then, let alone get into a boss role position for a super successful thing. When you've been used to making $12, $10, $9, $14 an hour was your freaking plateau, and then all of a sudden you go to six figures, yo, that shit will take a major toll on you in terms of, your head will tend to end up your ass, so to speak. So from YouTube, I definitely made some mistakes, and I tried to learn from all of those mistakes, try to own all of those mistakes. With Cody, we definitely had some arguments, and Cody stuck with me for the longest time until After Prison Show looked like it was going downhill. And I mean, you see what it is right now. We're nowhere. Will it ever bounce back? Probably not, but that's okay. I'll still give you guys my all, whatever. Cody's moved on. Cody's following his dreams. He's doing a lot of freelance social media stuff. So shout out to Cody. I think from Cody, me working with Cody, I learned a lot. There was Yanni as well. I learned a lot from working with Yanni, trying to work with Yanni, and ultimately making a lot of mistakes working with Yanni. When I mentioned, making mistakes and things that I got wrong, he's the perfect example of, unfortunately, of so much that I did get wrong. But YouTube opened the door for me to be able to start other businesses, right? Hey, it's After Prison Show. I want to help people, motivate people. Well, let me try to create jobs, okay? Bitch, I'm a politician now. God, I gotta clap to line up the audio and the video, and I forgot yesterday I stabbed myself in the hand with a screwdriver. God, it hurts so bad to clap. Joe does stuff for more on that. YouTube gave me the opportunity to be able to start other businesses, the first of which being a cleaning business. And you know, with that, I wanted to be able to employ people coming home who needed work. And I would get that opportunity to a certain degree, at least in the very beginning. Hell, I put Danny to work. And then he threatened to kill my manager because she told him to get off of his phone and work. But, you know, not throwing him under the bus or nothing, but that's just, you know, how do you deal with that situation? Hey, Joe, yeah, you know that guy from prison that you got working because you're trying to give people jobs? Yeah, he just threatened to slit my fucking throat. I mean, but it's okay now. It's okay now. I mean, can you see how bad that could be? And it wasn't because of that I would end up, like, not really working with people who needed jobs after prison. It was really the transportation issue that would end up causing me to have to stop working with people who needed jobs after prison because a lot of them didn't have transportation. The cleaning business was actually successful. I was making $700 a week doing, well, I say doing nothing, and that's not a whole hell of a lot of money, but it is a decent little grip to be making doing nothing, just being the boss, right? But unfortunately, that whole being a boss shit would have me out there in the field doing the work because you got people who will lie to you. Oh yeah, Joe, yeah, I can clean 5 apartments a day. And then they ain't even cleaning 2, and you're getting calls back at all hours of the night to go fix their F-ups. I hated the fact that I had to shut the doors on the cleaning business, but I had to. Okay, I couldn't do that and try to do the videos. And back then I was only doing one YouTube channel. It's crazy to think now I'm doing After Prison Show, Joe does stuff, flipping the houses, and doing landscape. The grind is for real. I think a cleaning business is a very easy business to start if you're coming home from prison, and I would recommend it to anybody. All you really need are cleaning supplies, transportation, LLC, business insurance, which you can get $1 million limited liability for like $40 a month, proof of insurance. And you go to these apartment complexes and you tell them, yo, I can clean these apartments for $100 a unit, or $110 or $120. If it's a deep clean, it's $150. And unfortunately, that's what the price is, no matter if it's 3 stories or 1 bedroom. Yeah, the game's super fucked up there, but there's money to be made. You're gonna work hard doing that. There's low overhead that it takes to get into a cleaning business. You know, you can hire felons because most of what you're doing are move in and move out cleans prior to people moving in, after people move out. So you ain't gonna be around people's belongings if you got people with, you know, grand larceny or some kind of theft charge on their record. Cleaning business, there's money to be made doing that. Definitely money to be made doing that. So from there, after I had to shut the doors on that and realizing I couldn't give guys the opportunity because they don't have transportation, the transportation became something that I thought about, and the mopeds, which I shared in the last video, the video before last, as a matter of fact. If you missed that, go check that out. Yeah, the mopeds. After the moped business, it was the moving business. Yo, if you can get your hands on a box truck or a truck and a trailer, a moving business or like logistics or delivery service is a killer ideal to be getting involved in. I loved the moving business. The moving business was actually on the verge of becoming successful. We were getting like 2 or 3 moves a week. We were doing awesome jobs. We were getting tips from the moves that we were doing. We were getting landscape work as well. And I was able to employ guys coming home after prison. Jellicoe was working with me. Jew-Man was working with me. Meth Mike was working with me. There were a bunch of people that I had working with me, and we were doing awesome work. We were getting tips, but that work was hard as a bitch. I know a lot of people, not a lot, I know a few people who have been to prison who have started moving companies. There's money to be made in moving. But just like with cleaning and landscape and every other type of business, painting, whatever it may be, the competition's tough. How do you separate yourself from that? Well, you gotta lower the bar in terms of your price. That's for damn sure. People would love to pay the cheapest, you know, but just make sure you're doing a quality job. You're there on time. You're getting the job done. You're not breaking anything, and you're doing a quality professional job. And even if you're not a pro, you'll become a pro trying to be a pro. Words to live by right there. If you ain't a pro, Become a pro by trying to be a pro every day. Unfortunately for the moving company, you guys already know, it was a bunch of bad reviews, fake reviews left by people who don't like me, which caused me to just give up on that. You know what, Yelp, you can suck my beep. You don't want to acknowledge the fact that fake people are leaving fake reviews and destroying my business. We're done with this. So from there, I would just continue doing the landscape work. And we had a couple of jobs at first, but they were all over the place. And if you're doing landscape, one thing that you probably already know is you need to have a bunch of properties near each other, or, properties that are spread out that are paying enough to make them worth it to travel. I would have one job in Virginia Beach, one job in Chesapeake, one job in Portsmouth. And each one of those jobs paid $20. $20 to ride 45 minutes to Virginia Beach, then to Chesapeake, then to Portsmouth, and I got 2 dudes working with me. Now, if I was doing it by myself, maybe it might have been worth it to make $60 a day. You could probably make more doing Grubhub, but now with landscape, and another thing with landscape is, or any business, let me give you this advice. You don't be afraid to lose a job, to not take a job, to let a job slip by you because you've priced it too high or because you're only getting too little. There were plenty of grass cutting jobs that I said, forget this, we're done with this. And there's plenty of jobs that I've bid that the price has been too high that the customer said, forget this. I'm not paying you to do it. I'm not paying you that much for that. Okay then. And one thing that's gonna happen when that happens, because I've had that happen 2, maybe 3 times with landscape, I've put the price too high for the customer. And I'm not doing that because I don't want the work. I'm putting the price where I think is fair. What's gonna make it worth it for me to have help to get the job done? In the moment where a customer says no to your price, you're gonna almost get to this fight or flight mentality where you're gonna think, shit, but wait, okay, hold on, you don't wanna pay me $1,400 to do that? Well, tell you what, I'll do it for $300. Don't ever sell yourself short. If they say no, go back and look at what you did. Okay, well, why did this customer say no? Well, they're probably tighter than fill in the blank for me right there, y'all. They cheap as a bastard. They cheap as a bitch. They don't want to pay for quality work, or they don't want to pay the price. Go get some neighborhood kids to do it. That's what I've heard twice, actually. Shit, the neighborhood kids will do it. Well, goddamn, go get them then. What are we even having this conversation for? You was going to go with them anyway. You're just being nosy trying to find out what I'm charging. Don't get into the fight or flight mentality. And if a customer declines your offer, respectfully respect that. Well, thank you, sir. I hope them kids do a good job for you. And you know what? Always, no matter what it is, no matter if you don't feel like doing it today, if you had a horrible night, if you're going through this, if you found out about that, no matter what it is, if you are a boss and you've been graciously put in a position to be that, get up every damn day and go do what you're supposed to do. Handle your fucking responsibilities. That's what I do. That's what a lot of other people do who do it way better than I do it. I want you to do it and do it way better than I do it. I'm still trying to get it right, and I got a lot of growing to do, but I'm trying to get there. And we're still doing landscape, so I'm so proud to say that. Been over 2 years, I've been doing the same property. I got competition riding by daily, looking at what I'm doing. Are my lines straight enough? Are you striping their property? How much are you charging? I got a Skag mower, bitch. You got a fucking Home Depot 0-turn. Toro, not even a commercial grade. I'll be selling it at the end of the season. I effed up. I had a commercial last season, sold that, bought a 52-inch, didn't realize it was a residential with commercial DNA. Oh, Toro, the way that you word things. Gas caps already fell off that residential mower. Flipping houses, the other business that I'm in, and starting to do a little bit better with that. At least I got a lot of hope that I'm going to be doing a lot better with that. If you get into an opportunity where you're able to flip houses, one thing that I can tell you is always use somebody else's money. Never use your own money. I know people who are flipping houses who are doing better than me, and they're using other people's money. Unfortunately for me, or maybe I'm blessed enough to be able to do so, no ego about it, I use all of my own money. Now, in the end, that yields me more profits. However, it's tying up all of my money when I could be doing other things like starting a food truck in a food desert where one is desperately needed and could make a killing. I'll have that as soon as this month's over with and we're done flipping this house. That's the next venture coming to Joe Does Stuff. Yo, it's not an easy thing to do. Everybody wants to do it. Everybody wants to be a wholesaler. If you can get in and be successful as a wholesaler, do that. Don't get into the getting your hands dirty, doing all the work yourself, stabbing yourself in the hand with a screwdriver, having to find guys and hold on to guys and deal with all of their baggage and problems that may come along with it. You followed me from flip 1 to flip 3. You've definitely seen quite a bit in relation to that. But there's money to be made in flipping houses, so they say. I lost on my first one, won on my second one, gonna win big on my third one, but at what cost? Because the taxes and that capital gains shit, man, they will eat you alive. There's methods and ways around it. The BRRRR method: buy, renovate, rent, refi, cash refi. Take your profits in the form of a new mortgage, let the rent pay that new mortgage, and they can't tax a loan because your profits will then become just that. But that's not even as easy as they say. You gotta wait 6 months with tenants in your property before you can even qualify for the cash refi. So there's all of that. I think I've learned the most lessons from flipping houses because everything has been at stake with every house that we've done, and it's been so stressful and so expensive. And the lessons that I've learned have been expensive lessons. Don't take people at face value. Oh, I'm skilled. I've got 20 years of experience. I want $25 an hour. Show me. You know, try to treat people with respect. Don't let them walk all over you. Don't let them watch you work hard so that they can sit back. You the boss. Be that. And don't just take that for flipping houses. Take that for any work. Treat people fairly. Always treat people fairly, or try to treat people fairly. Well, Joe, it's never worked out with nobody. Nobody's ever left you better than when they started. That's something I hope is not true. But you know what? If that is the case, if that is true, well, damn it, they probably did it to themselves. Let's just be for real. Handle every situation you can to the best of your ability. Always try to be as professional as you can be. And keep it professional. Keep friendship and business totally separate. That'll be a hard thing to do at times for sure. But during working hours, you're the boss. Get off of your phone. Why am I paying you? Am I paying you to play Candy Crush? Sometimes you gotta be an ass. And sometimes people are gonna think that's exactly what you are. But yo, business is business. All is fair in love and war. Is that a good statement? Look, that's all I got. I just wanted to share these things with you guys. I hope you find something in this, maybe entertaining to a certain degree, or maybe you found this completely a waste of time. I hope not. I hope it's definitely the former. You guys let me know exactly what you think. I share this with just a little pep talk. Let's get the day started off on the right foot, even though you won't be seeing this till probably late in the afternoon. But keep this in mind for the next day. If you're working for somebody else, think about what you want to be doing with the rest of your life. Do you want to be working for somebody else for the rest of your life? If you do, that's totally fine. But I know a lot of people have the mindset that they want to be their own boss. Do you have what it takes to be your own boss? Because I can promise you one thing. You might think that you do, but you get into them shoes and realize, whoa, this shit is a hell of a lot more responsibility than you was ever even thinking that it would be. You're responsible for the livelihood of the people that you employ or the people that work for you. You're responsible you're responsible for all the paperwork to come along with all the shit as well. But don't let that discourage you. Don't let that scare you. It is a scary thing. But damn it, there's other people who are doing it, so why can't you? I'll leave you with that. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment on this, letting me know exactly what you thought. And as always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace! Oh! I need a Band-Aid, something bad. Damn, that shit hurts.
Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss.